sir.
Yes!
Yes! Get in! Get in!
Get in there.
Get in.
The run continues, boys.
Mate.
Is it nine now? It's 9.
9 in a row, mate. 9 wins in a row. Unbelievable.
Get in there, boys.
My God.
Unbelievable.
What an even. What a great even.
Oh.
Let's go around the house, see how everybody is. Chris, how are you? And where's that boss mug? Where's the boss mug gone?
Oh yeah, no, this is a slightly smaller one. So because I've treated myself to a latte, I have like a smaller mug for that. But yeah, me boss one. That's when I'm having like me two cups of coffee, and it's usually a full on one. But no, it's just I'm having a latte this evening. But yeah, mate, I am on cloud 9. I am on absolutely cloud 9. Like I cannot believe we're winning these matches, but we're just looking so comfortable. And like, you know, well, I'm not going to get into it, but there's loads of different reasons as to why that is. But the main one, the absolutely main one, is the man that we've just seen in the intro. Like, and Wolves, hang your heads in shame. The fact that you give him like 10 yards alone in the box, that is disgusting. It's absolutely. He takes a touch and he looks around and he's like, "I'll just put it in, yeah. Cheers."
Yeah,
Mate,
that's what he does. Exactly.
Unbelievable. But now, brilliant, fantastic. Top 4, clean sheet, fully deserved as well, by the way. I know Wolves had a good few chances, but yeah, I'm absolutely delighted, mate, and I can't wait to relive it all now and talk with you boys and obviously everyone in the chat. So I'm really buzzing. But Pete, how are you doing?
In the right place, Chris?
Yeah.
Get in there. Whew. Not gonna lie, boys. I just had it in my mind that it could be a potential kind of banana skin. Everyone expects us to win. I said to you boys of the day, everyone expects us to win comfortably, and sometimes we slip up or we don't quite perform. But boys, I'm really pleased with that performance tonight. We can talk about all the intricacies, but ultimately, really pleased with that big win, big win. To get the 3 points in the manner in which we did it. I can't help but be impressed by these boys. They're continuing to press me in lots of different ways every single game. I'm loving what I'm seeing at the moment from our boys. And yeah, absolutely buzzing, lads. Come on, 9 in a row. Get in there. Come on.
9 in a row.
Guys, come on. This fella. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling even younger after watching that. But I'm good. Yeah, a big long day in the office, up since 6:15. So a long day, but I got through a lot today. So that just is the icing on the cake there to finish it off. But, there he is. He's the man that never broke his promise. Well done, Tyson.
Legend. Get in, lads. Unbeaten January still continues. You are absolutely spot on, fella. Massive thanks for your super chat. Appreciate it. And we roll on, people. We roll on.
Thank you, mate.
We do. We roll on. There's all this talk about dry January, but unbeaten January. I like that. Let's go with that. And bring this old graphic up again, as I like to do. Just a reminder, unbeaten January continues. Watch out, Bournemouth. We're coming for you. But boys, let's get into the game. Sorry, Chris.
Sorry, Daz. Just before we start, I want to try. I'm gonna try and do this on every show. I did it obviously on the away days as well. But everyone who's tuning in, we've got 117 people live at the moment. Please all just take a moment and just hit that like button for us. It really helps with the algorithms and it spreads the Loaded Mag show far and wide. As people in the chat have been putting, hit them likes for another Newcastle win at the weekends. Come on, boys, keep it going. So yeah, and if you're brand new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. We'd love to have you on board. And obviously, if you would like to become a member, you know what to do. Come and be a Loaded Mag Ultra. Become a member. It's $1.99 a month. You can do it on PC, laptop, tablet. Become a member, as I say, $1.99 a month, and we do regular prize draws. We try and do them monthly. We do slip up sometimes, but in what we think is going to be a busy January period, we are looking forward to doing quite a few giveaways. So if you haven't become a member, please consider doing so.
Just before we go anywhere, guys, come on. Set that likes target. 130 in the chat right now and rising. Come on.
I want 300. 300 likes. 100 for each goal we scored.
Every goal. Yes.
I like that.
You know,
Give me
people.
300 likes. Right. Let's rock on. Let's rock on, boys. We've got a lot to get to. This was the team news. And yes, Shar is out with illness. So that made the selection easier for Eddie. So he stuck with Botman and Byrne at centre back. It was confirmed by Eddie before the game as well on TV. We look back on the bench. The birthday for Dubravka. Not a bad time to have a birthday. Tomorrow's even better though, Dubravka. Just to note that. But this is the Wolves' new team as well. But boys, what did you make of the Newcastle team?
Well, I'll start by saying no surprises is what I would say. Pete, it's the exact team that we picked, isn't it, on away days? I'll be honest, the last few games that I've watched of Wolves, I knew how much of a threat Strand Larsen was. And when I saw Strand Larsen was starting, it was great to see Dan Burn and Sven Botman playing at centre-back. And for me, that was the right choice. I know Fabian Schär was ill today, and that's why he wasn't in the squad. But I think Eddie was correct with going with them two anyway. I think having Burn and Botman at the back, we saw how well they performed against Arsenal. And I know that obviously the centre-back pairing changed for Bromley because obviously Sven Botman was rested. But no, I think it was the right decision. And yeah, that was the team. That was the team that Pete and I predicted, and that was the team that I hoped would start. So when I saw it, I was pleased. And again, we say this week on week, don't we? But looking at the bench, you know, you have a little look at the bench and you start going, do you know what? We've got some decent options on there, which we saw in the second half when we brought nearly the whole bench on. So no, it was great to see, and yeah, I was really pleased with the lineup. What about you, Pete?
As we expected, spot on. Really happy. I know there was a few debates from various different sort of Newcastle United fans saying they prefer Shaw instead of Botman. I wanted Botman to play. I think if he's fit and ready, he's our best centre back in my opinion at the club. He needs to play. And him and Byrne have been absolutely excellent. So I wanted to see those two against Larsen today. And boy, did we see that. They were both absolutely excellent. So that was the only thing that really stuck out for me. Everything else, it was as I expected. And it was just great to see that team that's been doing so well come back together after the Bromley kind of reshuffle. And yeah, I was really excited about the game. I'm not going to lie.
Would have been the team I would have picked as well, boys. So yeah, I was delighted with the lineup. Let's get into it. Bruno won the toss, and so we played into the Gallagher for the second half. So yeah, that's always important. Gives a bit of a confidence. 5 minutes in, Murphy had a shot from distance. It was saved. Wolves sitting back and trying to hit us on the counter, as pretty much expected as well. 12 minutes, Wolves had a chance as Goodies pulls it wide after a cutback. Yeah, that was it. 30 minutes, Isak chance for a tap in, but it was saved. It was offside anyway, but we were kind of knocking on the door at that stage. Just kind of came down to the weight of the final pass that was getting to Isak that was kind of letting us down at that stage. Some great runs and turns from Gordon. He was showing he was up for it. 23 minutes, another Murphy shot saved. Isak tried to recover it, but it came to nothing. Question marks then if the ref actually brought his whistle. So he was letting a lot of things go, which was a good thing. It was good for the game. And there was minimal interruptions. 30 minutes, Isak shot after a Bruno through ball. He cuts inside and was just wide from Isak. So that was 30 minutes. 34 minutes. Murphy runs the ball out of defence. Isak collects the ball after Gordon leaves it. He wanders through after cutting inside. A 1-2 with the Wolves defender. Shoots. Takes a deflection and into the corner. That's 8 consecutive goals in the Premier League games for Isak. Cue the celebration. Here's our own one. And here's some of Isak. But boys, I'm going to get your thoughts on Isak's goal and our first of the night.
Just, do you know what, mate? It was coming. It was coming, is what I'd say. And I have to, I know you touched on the fact that Murphy was involved earlier on in that goal. I have to give Jacob Murphy a shout out, particularly for that first half performance. Like he was absolutely flying. Pete, you put it in the chat yourself, saying that Jacob Murphy was on fire. He was playing really, really well. And I tell you what, José Sá with that save as well for Murphy. That was an incredible save, absolutely incredible save from José Sá, because that was flying in. And we know Murphy likes to ping them, doesn't he? But in terms of the goal, it was fortunate. Not going to lie, it was fortunate. But that's the kind of run that Alexander Isak's on at the moment. As soon as he gets an opportunity to get a shot off a goal, he will. I was worried at first whether he'd be given the goal because the ball changed direction so much. But I think that it was on target. It's just the fact that that wasn't where he was going to put it. It just ended up in the other corner. But yeah, no, it fully deserved. I'm not going to wax lyrical over the goal because there was a lot of fortune in there, but it was deserved. And Alexander Isak, up to that point, he'd threaten Wolves a little bit. He'd give them a few warning signs, and if you carry on giving chances to someone like Alexander Isak, you're going to get punished. And eventually, we did. So yeah, 1-0 up. Fully deserved. And I do you know what, Pete? I remember a conversation you and I had. I don't know whether it was before away days or during. And we were saying that the longer it stays 0-0, the more it will play into Wolves' hands. Yeah. And as soon as we scored, I turned to my wife Lisa and I said, "It's done. It's done." I said, "Now we're going to take control of the game." Not done as in we'd won, but I just felt more confident.
She didn't say it. But you still talking about the match. It's done. I knew at that point that we had the control, because you could see that we kept knocking on the door and it wasn't quite happening for us. We had a few decent chances, but Wolves, on the counter attack, they were causing a couple of problems, and I know Daz will probably touch on them in a bit. They had opportunities to score, but as soon as it went 1-0, I just thought this is going to change the game. Now, we needed that goal in the first half and we got it. Yes, there was fortune to it, but you take it all day long. Pete, tossing the goal.
Yeah, just before that, I've had a couple of super chats in, so we'll throw them onto the screen now. Toon, 1983, got his prize, got his winnings from the members draw. So yeah, brilliant.
Nice
stuff.
one.
Train ticket for Bournemouth.
Good man.
£120.
Spent wisely, mate. I like that. You spent it wisely, yeah, mate. But no, I'm glad it's gone towards the train tickets. So that's really good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, they're not cheap at all.
No.
And Tony, great to see you, Tony.
Transfer Tony.
Absolutely.
Or non-transfer Tony.
We might get to a bit of transfer talk after this.
There is lots to talk about, people.
Yeah, there is.
Talk about. But yeah, a couple of super chats there. In terms of the goal, boys, it was for me absolute relief, because the goal was coming. You just needed it to go in. And the reason being is because we were really, really starting to turn it on. We were starting to create chances. We were starting to look dangerous. Wolves, look, fair play to Wolves. They came and they did exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to sit back in their back five and play that low block. And what really impressed me in the build up to that goal is we were starting to penetrate their low block, and we were starting to pull them around and open up the space. And when Isak started drifting onto the left, it threw them. They didn't know what to do. And it's the great thing about it. Isak drifts in, as he normally does, gets a little bit of luck with the ball landing the way it does, but then taking the shot, look, deflection. When you're in the form of your life, like Alexander Isak is, and when you think that everything you touch turns to gold, which is what Alexander Isak is doing right now, you're bound to get some luck along the way. Nothing is ever clear cut. Everybody, every team, every player gets a little bit of luck now and again. And I think if anyone's earned it, it's him. And wrong foot's the goalkeeper into the corner. And at that point, I'm like, right, we're in charge now. Just like you said, Chris, we're in charge of the game, and we looked like we could dominate. We looked like we could go on and get another two just in that half alone. So absolute relief for me, and the boy did it again. That's 8 in a row now. He's 3 behind the record, which I think is Vardy on 11. Whether he gets it or not doesn't matter. He's got the record for the club, more than Willock and Shearer. But look, we know when Alexander Isak winning goals, we're winning matches. So brilliant.
Don't go there, Aaron. Too early yet, Aaron. You said we'd hang off.
We did. Well, we did.
No, don't do it, Chris.
Top 4, we did say it. But
no.
I just want to. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, we'll play that in a bit. I like that. Just to add on to what Pete said as well, and I don't know whether you boys noticed this. And to be fair, maybe it's been happening in other games, and I've been oblivious to it. I don't know, but for periods in that first half, were you watching just the way we were just crisp ping passing? And it was deadly. There was times where like our build-up play, and it was always in the last third, or like the cross come in, Sá come out. Sá came out a lot and claimed the ball. In fairness to him, those balls were getting whipped in by Murphy. But ever since I was a young lad, like Liverpool have always been pretty decent. And I watch Liverpool sometimes, and I look at them and I think, look how good they are with the ball and how they pass it round, and it's one touch, it's crisp. And that's how they've been successful. But I was watching us tonight, and I was like, "We're good at this. This doesn't look like Newcastle." And we just looked so comfortable at times, and it was great to see. And I mean, having technicians, like Bruno and Tonali in the middle is wonderful. And then obviously when the ball's going up to Isak, and then you've got Botman at the back, who's just so assured on the ball, really comfortable. And even now with Tino and Lewis Hall, you're getting people who are good on the ball. They look assured. Hall more so than Tino, but it's just great to see. Really, really great. And how many times did the ball go back to Dubravka? Comfortable. Oh yeah, just comfortable.
It is amazing. It's just that little tweak of putting Tonali in the number 6 and just giving everyone a 1-to-1 chat. And this happens, it's just amazing. So many great performances across the board. Let's carry on with the game, boys, because on 42 minutes, Wolves hit the post on the break with stranded Larson with the shot. Like that little Dan, stranded Larson. 43 minutes, J7 with the Thunder Bastard shot over the bar as he went for power. Isak tracked back in right before half time and just shouldered the attacker out of the way. Goodies it was, and from there a free kick. Then we had a free kick, and Tonali had a shot from that routine when it came to him, and it went wide, I think. Yeah, so that was half time. That took us to half time and 1-0 up. We wanted more, we needed more just to make sure of it. Boys are going to carry on straight into the second half, and we'll stop at the goals because Gordon, on 50 minutes, Gordon had a shot was deflected for a corner. 56 minutes though, Bruno that slips in Isak. No one, as you said earlier, Chris, no one absolutely near him at all. He had the goalie's mercy, and he just slides it in the back of the net. 2-0 Newcastle. We have to do it again for Isak. And Pete, I'm going to go to you first this time on the second goal for Isak.
If you want to see a passage of play that's elite football, that's what you watch. You watch that goal again and again and again. That goal is elite football at its finest. Ball comes in from Murphy into Bruno's feet, turning into that little space in that little pocket. He's the only player that I know that drives into real deep pressure positions with the ball at his feet, because he's always confident he can come out with it or find the pass. And he literally drives into a little pocket of space where he's got 3 or 4 Wolves players all surrounding him. They all close in, and he does it on purpose, because what he does, he brings those players in, he sucks those players in to play that little fine ball into Alexander Isak. No one else on the pitch can find Isak with that type of ball, with that type of quality. And Isak's got the whole of the goal to shoot at, because They've literally been sucked out. So Bruno has to take credit for that, because he's done that intentionally. He sucked those players in order to find that pass. It was a brilliant piece of football. And he's in that position, takes a touch, looks up. Sá already knows. He knows what's happening. He just falls to the ground because he knows it's a goal. And he's it's actually pretty central that he puts it in the net, just wrong foots in, bang, in that. And once that goal goes in, game over. Done. Done and dusted. Couldn't see Wolves coming back into it. We looked dominant. We looked solid. We were just breaking down all their counter-attacks, and we were kind of going. It was like almost just sort of routine again and again. The ball would break down. We'd win the ball back. We'd attack again, create an opportunity. The ball would break down. We'd win the ball back. We were on the creating opportunities. It was just rinse and repeat. We were what Newcastle United have just tweeted out right now. We were unstoppable at that point in the game. It was brilliant to see. But what a goal! What a goal! What a piece of football! Beautiful to see.
Chris, your thoughts on Isak's second?
Do you know what? I just love the celebration as well. I totally agree with everything that Pete said. And then Isak, collects the ball in what it must have been about 7 or 8 yards out, and then he looks around and realizes, oh yeah, no one's near me. And then the keeper's helpless, nothing to do. And then Isak just slots it, and then we just get one of them. And it's just magic. It's absolutely magic. But you cannot give a striker of Alexander Isak's caliber and quality that much time and space in the box. Like, I think Pereira's going to be very, very disappointed with that goal when he watches it back. Yes, excellent work from Newcastle in the build-up, but ultimately, you're saying to your defenders, mark him. Don't leave him free in the box. And the fact, as I say, 5 or 6 yards, there was no one near him, and there must have been about 6 or 7 players boxed all around him, and nobody was near him. Maybe I'm not giving Alexander Isak credit for making that little bit of movements and getting himself free. I don't know, but absolutely brilliant. And as soon as it was 2-0, it definitely, no doubt in my mind, the game was done. The game was done. So yeah, it was a relief because, as I say, Wolves did have a couple of half decent opportunities, but yeah, when it went 2-0, yeah, it was relief, but also absolute joy, because I knew that we'd made it 9 in a row at that point.
But 3 would be nice, wouldn't it? And Bruno thought so as well. He wanted to get into the action because he had a few shots after that. Because at 63 minutes, Bruno shoots over the bar. Wolves then had a few chances. One that was saved by this man, Dubs. You're going nowhere, Dubs. And yeah, but 73 minutes, we had to wait a few more minutes until this man scored. Give me a second. Boom. So, great move from Newcastle. Murphy onto J7 onto Isak. Isak unselfishly onto to Gordon, and Gordon at the second attempt, I think, and Gordon slides it home. Yeah, went to VAR then just to check if it was offside, but Isak was onside. There was no issue there. So yeah, the goal stood 3-0, and Gordon gets the third, and Isak gets the assist. So great bit of teamwork by the lads there. But Chris, we go back to you for your thoughts on Gordon's the third goal for Newcastle. Gordon's one.
Yeah, I was really pleased for Anthony Gordon. Because in the first half, I saw a lot of effort from him, but things weren't quite panning out for him. But he persisted. He still persisted to press. He still persisted to try. And it was a brilliant pick out from Alexander Isak. I mean, Isak must have had on his mind he wanted that hat trick, but he saw Anthony Gordon in a better position, and it was a fantastic pick out. And Gordon couldn't miss. But again, really, really smart build up play. And we were pairing at that point. We were absolutely pairing, and I thought it was it was nice to cap it off. And then for me, it was strange, and I will talk about this a bit later on, Daz, when you come to the end of your match summary. You could just tell then it was like, right, let's shut up shop now. Let's get this clean sheet. Let's make sure that we keep this clean sheet. And there was a moment, which I will talk about later. There was a moment in the game, and I absolutely loved it. And I'm sure a few other people in the chat, and maybe you boys spotted it, but I absolutely loved it. But yeah, great goal. And yeah, made up for Anthony Gordon to get on the score sheet as well, because there was a lot of effort and endeavour in that first half, and some things just weren't panning out for him. But I love the way he just carries on and persisted and kept going and going. And this is the Anthony Gordon form that we saw in the Champions League qualification season. This we're now seeing the very, very best of Anthony Gordon. And unfortunately for Harvey Barnes, this is why he's not in the team, because Anthony Gordon is undroppable. And in that left wing position, he's absolutely mustard. And with Lewis Hall behind him, I struggle, boys, to think of a better left back, left wing partnership in the Premier League. I really, really struggle at the moment, because I think the two of them are just absolutely unbelievable. And Lewis Hall now, he's got all his confidence. He's overlapping all the time. He's cutting inside, going into the midfield. Brilliant. But yeah, great goal and a really nice build-up play.
And on the right, then you have Tino and Murphy, and then the commentators were saying about that Aït-Nouri didn't know which way to turn as well. Normally he's bombing forward as well, but he's in trouble. But as Newcastle found a third, Pete, I see you found Brandy as well. But what was your thoughts on the third goal for Newcastle?
Brilliant. Just a really, really well worked goal. It was we were in our formidable phase where we were just attack after attack, causing them problems time and time again, and it looked like Wolves had given up at that point. They'd run out of gas. They looked tired. We'd ran them all over the park, and they were being pulled all over the park as well. So it was a really well timed goal, because Gordon and Isak are playing some fantastic stuff at the moment. Some of them, and I cannot forget Jacob Murphy. The front three are just being absolutely brilliant at the moment. The creativity, everything is being created for each other. There's no selfishness in the team. Although sometimes I'd like Isak to do it, because ultimately Isak should have shot, and I was annoyed that he didn't initially when he's kind of gone through. But it works its way back round. He plays in Gordon, and it's a really good first time finish. I actually think Anthony Gordon's now playing better than he did last season. I think this is his best season now, and he hadn't had a good first half of the season. I've been quite open and honest about that. But in this run, Anthony Gordon is slowly getting better and better, and he is now playing better than he did last season, which is testament to him, and absolutely brilliant for us. And it's frightening to think that, what is he, 24, 23? He's only going to get better. And we have a real fantastic partnership up top, where both of them are scoring goals, both of them are assisting. Alexander Isak, that's 5 assists now. It's 20 goal contributions this season. We're in January. We've still got months to go in this season. He's already on 15 goal contributions. It's absolutely fantastic. Gordon's approaching double figures, in terms of goals. So he's already looking at hitting his target again that he hit last season. It's just brilliant to see. But a really nice goal. I'll probably touch on it again in a bit, but absolutely one of many good decisions that Eddie Howe did by bringing them off. Job done, night over, get yourself rested and ready to go again on Saturday. It's the kind of thing we didn't do last year or the year before.
Yeah.
And that's not just an evolution of the players, it's an evolution of the manager as well, which is even more impressive for me. So brilliant stuff all around. Great goal. Night. See you later. When's full time?
Do you think as well, Pete, just to add into that, do you think the credit has to go as well to Will Osula in the fact that he's now plays himself into a position where Eddie Howe is more than comfortable to bring him on? Because we've seen in the past, we get like the odd minutes here and there, but we knew there'd be a significant amount of time added on. I think Will Osula came on 81 minutes. So he had nearly 20 minutes of play there, and it was totally the correct decision to take Isak off. No point risking him when the game's done and dusted. But do you think part of that, Eddie Howe evolving as a manager, absolutely, but do you think as well the fact that, Will Osula is starting to really show himself in training, and Eddie Howe's, showing a bit of confidence in him now?
There's an element of that. Definitely, he played really well in the time that he got against Bromley. I think there's an element of that, but I think ultimately the decisions that were made were more to do with protecting our better players. Being honest with you,
it was done.
It's almost like a double bonus because you're giving the likes of Asula and Miley and Willett minutes, which is great because the bench are getting good minutes, and I think Isak came off with like 15 minutes to go, so he got a decent amount of minutes there under his belt, Premier League football. But ultimately, it's to protect your big boys. It's to protect Gordon, to protect Alexander Isak. If we can continue to keep games to the point where they're done at 60, 70 minutes, we'll continue to rest players and allow them to get a full rest. And it was an ideal situation. It's Wednesday night. We've had a real tough run. These boys were tired. They looked tired at points in this second half. Where you can give them a rest, give them a rest. Don't let them play late on into the game if they don't need to. There was question marks about Alexander Isak's hamstring, whether was he going to play. He was always going to play, but why not rest him? Why not give him that extra rest? He's done his job. He scored 2 goals. Probably wanted to stay on to get a hat-trick, but you've got to look after him first and foremost. Gordon, exactly the same. I think Joe Linton exactly the same. He ran himself into the ground. He looks spent. Get them ready for Bournemouth because Bournemouth is a big test at the weekend. We need those boys ready for this game. So, I think it's more protecting our big boys than it was the other lads. But it's great. The other lads get minutes. It's part and parcel of the game.
Now there was a few spoilers along the way there. We'll carry on with the game. And for the 300 people watching live, smash that like button. 300 is the target. You can do it now. Do it now. Right, 77 minutes. Murphy off. Miggy on. Who was that? Goodbye, Miggy on Miran. We might talk a bit more about that later on. Gordon off. Willock on. Isak off. Asula on. 79 minutes. Wolves goal. Or was it? It came from a corner, bit of a scramble in the box, but it came off a hand. Went to VAR, ruled out, no goal, correct decision. Clean sheet intact. 82 minutes, J7 off, Miley on. 82 minutes, Wolves hit the crossbar with a save from Dubs. What a save that was. I know someone had it in the chat there as well. Great save, and then it came off the crossbar from Dubs. 84 minutes, Tino off, trips on. 3-0 final score. Clean sheet for Newcastle. The run continues 9 games on the trot. Actually, they said something as well about that was the first double over Wolves in the league in 120 years, something like that.
Wow.
But 2 goals for Isak and 1 assist.
Jeez.
What a game. Time for the Shades, boys. The run continues.
There is somewhere.
I also wanted to add I wanted to mention this towards the end. As I forget. I forget because Wolves had quite a few chances, didn't they? But there was a chance in the last few minutes. I don't know if you boys spotted it, but a mistake was made. I'm pretty sure it was by Byrne and possibly Hall. I don't know, but the Wolves missed an opportunity. And Sven Botman went absolutely apeshit. He went mad. And I thought, that's what I wanted me centre back. That's what I want me centre back doing because you could tell. I mean, the game was done. It was 3-0 and there was only a few minutes left to go. But you could tell how much he wanted that clean sheet and how important it was. Take aside the fact that maybe he's got a clean sheet bonus not going there. But the fact that, the defence wanted to shut up shop and make sure, that we came away with a clean sheet. That's what I truly believe it was. But seeing Sven Botman going absolutely mad at the fact that, he'd been let down by a few of his colleagues, during that Wolves attack. And I love seeing stuff like that because it just shows, that every man is accountable and, they all challenge each other and they all want the best from each other. Because loads of times you can see, where teams concede a goal and you can look around the players and they're not really bothered because the game's done. They might be 2-0 up, 3-0 up. But Sven Botman went absolutely berserk, and I love to see it. Love to see it.
Let's get your final thoughts, lads. I know you wanted to bring up 1 or 2 topics. Pete, we'll go to you first. I think there was something you wanted to bring up.
No, I just think it was a really, really good performance. Like I say, looked like it was going to be a little bit of a potential a banana skin moment. But I was really, really impressed on our game management. Look, no game's easy. You're going to concede chances. But the way we managed that game, I thought was excellent. And that shows the evolution of this football team. What we're seeing now is what Eddie Howe wanted us to be at the back end of last season and at the beginning of this season. A possession-based football team that can break teams down. This is, if we want to be fighting regularly at the top, this is what we need to do. And that's what really impressed me about this, is that in previous seasons, we'd have struggled, maybe won by the odd goal, maybe got a draw. For me, I think that was a sign of us changing. It's almost like a changing of the guard for Newcastle United. I have to give massive props to Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe has orchestrated this team to play in some fantastic football, but not just that, just managing the game excellently. Subs at the right times, managing these players excellently well. Really, really managing this team well, but managing the game well in certain situations, getting the goal, sitting back, making it difficult, then going again. We're doing that high intensity press in blocks of play now. And yeah, I'm really, really excited in what I'm seeing. I trust this back line all day long. I trust that we are capable of keeping teams out like we did today. You know, Wolves maybe were unlucky not to get a goal. I thought they played well at times. They've got some decent players, but I trust these boys to lock out any opposition we play against, and I trust the boys up top to put the ball in the net. And when you've got, in my opinion, right now the best midfield in the Premier League, organising and orchestrating things, for me, this midfield can unlock any midfield in this Premier League. I just think we've got a real good moment. And I tweeted out earlier on this morning, Martin Hardy talked on Sky Sports News quite late last night about the situation with Newcastle United and Alexander Isak. And he made a really good point, a point that I completely agree with. We're not about selling our best players. If we want this project to go where we want it to go, we are about keeping these best players. And we are 2 or 3 top players, 2 or 3 more Tonali type players away from regularly challenging in the top 4. Potentially on a season like this, maybe even challenging for the league. We are not that far away. And tonight's proved it. Yes, it's Wolves. People will say, yep, they're at the bottom. But it's these type of games that you dismantle a team like we did Wolves that shows me that we're going places, because we have to do this on a regular basis. So really impressed to see this. 9 in a row. Let's go make it 10 on Saturday. And if we make it 10 on Saturday with Southampton away to come, we are going to get tongues wagging even more so than they are right now. Brilliant stuff to see. Across the board, everybody is doing their bit, and it's really showing right now.
Exactly, Pete. No, well said. Did I see Fun B in the chat?
You most certainly did. You most certainly did.
Well, next time we have Fun B on, we need to play this tune.
It really is right now.
That is his intro when he comes back on with us again, and he'll be back on again, sure, soon, I assume, for me, when we get you back on. Chris, you wanted to go to something as well. You mentioned something you wanted to touch on.
Oh, no, I already did. It was on Botman. Botman going ape shit at the end when he nearly conceded.
Nice one.
Yeah.
But then I noticed the same about Tonali. What you said about Botman,
I didn't see that.
I noticed the same about Tonali. So there was a shot that came in late on in the game. Dubravka makes a save but spills it. Tonali gets rid of the ball, and as he gets up and Dubravka goes over to him, Tonali's going mad at the players around him, particularly the ones in front for letting him get the shot away. And he was organising and he was telling people exactly what that is. So I think what we've got is we've got a team of leaders, and when you're a leader, you're not afraid to point the finger at other players, because if you're a leader in this team and you're the player like Botman or Sandro Tonali, you want to be fighting at the top of the table. You want to be winning matches week in, week out. So you need your players to make sure that they're ensuring that you do that. It's as simple as that, and they're not afraid to do that. And this is what it's all about. We're developing and building leaders all over the pitch, which is great to see. Superb.
Totally.
Boys, let's take a look at the table. And if we weren't already wearing shades, I would say put on shades because this is getting bright. Look where we are. We're sitting there right up in fourth spot after 21 games. A point ahead of Chelsea, 3 points ahead of Man City, all within the same amount of games played, and 3 points ahead of Villa as well. Of course, we're going in for Forest now as well. We're coming for you, Wolfie, to take your throne there, sitting in third spot. But yeah, it's looking good, boys. This run of 9 games. Let's continue into the 10th one, and this is always a tricky one for Eddie. He always. It doesn't always go to plan against Bournemouth, so it is going to be a tricky one on Saturday. Short turnaround time as well, of course. But what do you make of the table, boys?
Great viewing, mate. Absolutely great viewing. Do you know the only thing that still baffles me is the fact that we've won 8 in a row in the Premier League, and look how tight it is from like 8th up. It's still incredibly tight, isn't it? We look at Bournemouth in 8th, and we're only 4 points ahead of Bournemouth. So it shows that we've managed to put ourselves in a fantastic position, but the job is definitely not done yet. We know that the fixtures in December looked, difficult. We know that the fixtures this January look favourable, and we've made a fantastic start to January. Obviously, we got the win against Tottenham, we got the win against Arsenal, we got the win against Bromley, we got the win against Wolves. We've still got two more fixtures there, and we just want to keep this winning streak going. And I'm feeling really confident, for Bournemouth. I mean, I've just mentioned Bournemouth there in 8th. If we then beat Bournemouth at the weekend, we then go 7 points clear of Bournemouth. Yeah. This is the key. This is where we just need to, and we need to keep putting the pressure on Liverpool. I was looking at the form on the right there, Daz, as you flashed it up. Liverpool have drawn the last 2 games. There's 4 points they've dropped, and people in the chat have been asking about the title and stuff like that. And I mean, I'm not about to tell you that I think we're going to win the league, but really? I want us to be looking as high up as we can. We always say it, don't we? You aim for the stars, and if you fall just below, what a place to be in. So why not? There's still a hell of a lot of football to be played. I think 17 games left. It's a lot of points, boys. What is that? 51 off the top of my head. 51 points to play for. Why not? Why not just keep this win and run going? What someone else again put it in the chat earlier. I don't know if I can put my finger on it, but out of the 8 Premier League wins, it's something like, was it scored 21, conceded 3, or something silly like that?
Good for goal difference as well. It could be crucial as well. You never know.
This is it. And sorry, Pete, go on, mate.
No, carry on, fella.
No, all I was just going to say there towards the end was, I just want us to continue it. We've been guilty in the past, haven't we, of looking at fixtures and thinking, we'll win that, we'll get the 3 points there, and then we let ourselves down and we don't necessarily get the 3 points. I want us to turn that on its head. I want us to go to into the game at the weekend at home to Bournemouth, get the 3 points, go to Southampton away, get the 3 points. So we're going to put ourselves in a fantastic position, boys. I mean, imagine going 10 games in the Premier League, 10 wins on the bounce. And I think it's achievable. I really, really do. And then, obviously, new month, we then go into February, but we put ourselves in a fantastic position. And sooner or later, boys, this league table will start, it'll start spreading out, because teams won't be able to keep up this type of form. We've won 8 on the bounce in the Premier League. And, we've put ourselves in an absolutely fantastic position considering where we were at the start of December. But even now, there's still, it's still close. But if we can continue this form and kick on, we can create that gap. And once that gap's created, it's very, very difficult for the other teams to catch it up.
Pete, your thoughts on where we are sitting in the table? And there were times when we were on the top table talk and we're going, well, we have to rename this because can we really be a part of it? But we're well and truly a part of it now.
Absolutely. And you look there, we're the only one with a clean record. Look at that. Yeah. 5 wins in a row. We're the only one in that top 11 that we can see that's got a clear record. I imagine everyone below Brighton haven't got a clear record anyway. But yeah, so we're setting the standard right now. And look, it's in our hands. You talk about creating a gap and it's close. Let's go create a gap on Saturday. Let's go beat Bournemouth and make it 7 points between us in 7th place or 8th place, whatever it is. Let's put pressure on, because Man City, Villa, all these teams are having to continue to go to the well and win matches because we keep winning matches and they want to try and keep in touch with us. If we keep winning matches, they're going to have to keep winning matches. Otherwise, the gap gets bigger. Yeah. And Villa have got some tough games coming up. Forest have got a really tough run to the end of February. But from now to the end of February, they've got some difficult games. Apart from Sunday, they've got Southampton, I think, at home, which they'll dispatch. But after that, they've got a real tough run of games. And so, can we ask the question to them? I mentioned it. It hasn't quite worked out this way because Arsenal won. But if Arsenal hadn't have won or maybe even lost tonight, if we had welcomed Bournemouth on Saturday and beat them, we could have been in second spot. We could have been sitting second, but even better than that, or not necessarily better than that, but as a close second on Saturday, if we win, we'll go above Forest and have to ask Forest the question because of the fact that we've got a better goal difference. We're talking about Villa being the team that we're in competition with. If you just put that table back up again, Daz, what you'll be able to see is that we've already got a 16 goal better goal difference than them. 16 goals. That's not bad going. That just shows how formidable we've been at the moment. And we've got one of the best defensive records in the Premier League. We're third? Liverpool and Forest joint second, only 2 goals less conceded. Arsenal obviously doing really well in terms of goals conceded, but we're not far behind them. We've got 3. There's only 3 goals in it, so we've got one of the best defensive records. We've now scored 37 goals. We're not far away of being one of the best goal scorers in the Premier League. And we're everything is going, lads, in the right direction. We're dispatching teams by scoring multiple goals. We're looking solid in defence. The midfield is as strong as anything and got energy to burn. What does that remind you of? I know what it reminds me of. 22-23.
Yeah.
And what do? We got Champions League football. We need to keep this going. We need to win these types of matches. It's going to be tough on Saturday, probably a lot tougher and maybe a lot closer than it was tonight. But I tell you what, if we go and win that, we've got a full week's rest, ready to then attack probably arguably one of the worst teams in the Premier League history in Southampton, albeit at their ground. So there's a chance to put 6 more points on this board. Now, just 1 second, Dad, to put that table back up. And I don't want to look too far ahead because me and Fumi have had this back and forth. And I was talking about, or others in the chat were in our Midlands Mag chat was talking about, if we win the next 3 or 4 or whatever. And he was like, I can't do it. I can't deal with it. I just need to look a game at a time. But if we are lucky enough to win those next 2, and it puts us on 44 points or something along those lines. Yeah, 44 points that puts us on. You're looking at potentially another 20 odd points. To almost maybe even less than that potentially to guarantee European football to a point. It means that we're not that far away. We've still a lot of games to play. Accumulating these points early doors, it goes into our favor because we're becoming formidable. We are going to come up. We are going to lose at some point. We are going to drop points at some point. But if we can get draws or drop our points against the likes of Man City and Liverpool, is the ones that we expect to, but we're beating all the teams around us and doing what we need to do game in, game out, we'll be right up there at the end of the season, right up there at the top. So
no, I know what you're saying. People, I'm going to rein it back a bit and do an Eddie Howe and go 1 game at a time because we're not. It's a big one on Saturday and against Eddie's bogey team. Then it's to close out January and finish what we started in the League Cup as well, and then we can dream into February and put up a new challenge for Eddie and the lads. But they've done remarkably well so far. Boys, I know we have some questions in the chat, but there was some news as well around potential exits, and potential exits means potential incomings. So because it would free up some cash to splash. So let's talk a bit about that. Is it time to push the button on well, I know your answer to this, but is it time to push the button now and release some of these players that we're getting some bids in for? Who would you like to talk about first? We talk about Miggy. That's the one that dropped pretty much close to to game time, and Atlanta looking to get in on the action and bring Miggy home. Talk of was it £11 million bid or figure being quoted?
11 million pounds. Yeah. I noticed someone in the chat put before it was around $10 million, but what I saw, and because Pete put it in our chat, was David Ornstein. I'm sure he said 11 million pounds, didn't he, Pete?
Yeah. So yeah, there was a few tweets that have gone out. So I've just grabbed one here that gives us a little bit of detail. So Keith Downey's reported on it that Newcastle have been approached by Atlanta, looking at 11 million at this point. David Ornstein also reported it as well. Ben Jacobs, who was one of the first, I think he and Tom Bogart got the exclusive on Miguel Almiron. He said that Newcastle want 8.5, but it's looking at a deal around 11 million, which I think is involving some additional bonuses. David Ornstein reports it, so that when he reports it, it's like it's gospel, like it's going to happen, and people are. And this is a bit of an update that a lot of people haven't seen. The potential deal to sign Miguel Almiron from Newcastle is advanced and getting closer. Potential deal around $10 million. Plus add-ons, which I think that's why it works out to around £11 million. Club's optimistic a deal can be completed in the next couple of days. So I wouldn't be surprised if Miguel Almiron has probably played his last game for Newcastle United. I would put my money on Friday we get some news that a deal's probably been agreed. It looks like at this point that Miguel Almiron is finally kind of ending his time at Newcastle United. From my perspective, it's the perfect move. It's the perfect situation for all people involved. Atlanta United have been looking for a winger. They want a winger and a striker. They want the forward player from Borough, who was about to go to Leicester and didn't.
Latte Laugh.
Yeah, that's the one. And they want reinforcements, as Keith says. I think he says it there. Atlanta United have got money to spend. Okay, so spend away, Atlanta United. Spend away. I think, from a Newcastle United point of view, I think 11 million for Miguel Almiron, considering we signed him for 16, rising to 21, is a pretty good deal at this stage. And I think Miguel Almiron wants to go and play back in the MLS or as close to South America as possible. So I think it's a good deal all round. It's the right time. He wants to play regular football. He's loved at Atlanta United. And so him going back there just makes sense. But what I will say to you boys, and it kind of adds into another conversation as well that I'm sure we'll bring up, I am absolutely convinced that if we sell Miguel Almiron, we are getting another winger coming into Newcastle.
I agree.
Absolutely. I said to you boys before the window started, if we don't sign, then it's almost kind of bordering on negligence that we're not improving this team. Well, Miguel Almiron looks like he's played his last game for Newcastle United. For me, we have to go and improve this team.
That's a factor as well, Pete, isn't it? That's got to be a factor with the Barnes injury.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think Barnes' injury is massively serious. I wouldn't be surprised if he's back in 3 weeks rather than 4. Yeah. But what I will say is that we've got important games that we need to win now. So, we won't get a player in time for Bournemouth, but if we can act fast enough and we can get that deal for Miggy done early and we can be working on a replacement between now and Southampton, it's not out of the realms of possibility that we could potentially have a new player in place for that game at Southampton. So it's almost really only one game where maybe we're a little bit depleted. And it is a big game, but you trust our main players to do the job against Bournemouth. So we're in a situation where I think we need to really invest. When you've got an opportunity, a genuine opportunity of playing Champions League football, and the guy in the chat mentioned it earlier, I can't remember his name, but he said, is fifth place still getting Champions League football? Well, in the coefficient, it's 99 point something percent that England will get the fifth spot. So it is up for grabs. We're just sitting in fourth right now. We could be sitting in third by Saturday and be in a really strong position. Like, we're in this race. There's no doubt about it if we go and win on Saturday. So,
but let's make sure of it. When it comes down to the crunch, let's make sure of it. Let's not be relying on someone else like Man United against Man City in the FA Cup. Let's do it. Take care of business ourselves. So let's keep this one going. Then let's switch to another rumour. Where are we go next? Will we go defend a left back, or will we go a centre back that can also play left back in potential outgoings? Let's go.
Go on. Sorry, go on, Nat.
Let's go Kelly. Because there's talk of Kelly as well, and Jose Mourinho having eyes on Kelly in Fenerbahce. I thought Jose wanted to leave Fenerbahce actually there not so long ago. But anyway, now there's talk of I'm trying to get Kelly on the cheap, eh? Not so fast, Jose.
Absolutely.
What have you got for us, Pete?
Yeah, the latest. There was a piece earlier on this afternoon from The Athletic, and it says that Newcastle rejected an 11 million Fenerbahce bid for Lloyd Kelly. Now, it was rumoured within the Turkish sources. It was interesting because the Turkish sources came out and everyone kind of dismissed it. Yeah, I don't believe it. It's rubbish. Came out to be true. It turned out to be true in the end. And Turkish sources reported it was around 6 million. Well, it now suggests that it was 11 million. Now, it was interesting because lots of people on social media, lads, were saying, "Oh yeah, 6 million. Oh, I'd take anywhere between 8 and 10 for him." Well, we've rejected 11, so now it brings out the question: how much do Newcastle United actually want? Because every journalist has reported on the fact that the bid that Fenerbahce gave Newcastle was considerably low and was almost immediately rejected, and that Fenerbahce are going to have to come back with a better offer. Now, what's interesting about this, boys, before I get your opinions on it, is that Fenerbahce initially wanted Carlos at Villa, who we were linked with way back when.
Yes.
Now, what's interesting about that is today, Galatasaray have gone in for Carlos. So their rivals have gone in for Carlos to try and sign him and then negotiate him with Villa. So that potentially puts Fenerbahce out the race, which means they may well go full steam ahead on Lloyd Kelly. Now, Craig Hope tonight's reported that Fenerbahce is still at the table for Kelly. So it seems like there's a possibility that a second bid could go in. But what do you make of the Kelly deal? Would you be in agreement to sell both Miggy and Kelly? And the most important thing is that what fee do you think Newcastle United are looking for, in your opinions, lads?
It's you know what, it's because we're going. I am going to answer your question, but we're going to talk about another player after this, and there's a bit of a conflict there as well, because we would weaken the left hand side doubly if we went for two. But what fee would I accept for Kelly? We got him on a free. I know there's talk of he's on crazy wages, but I don't believe he's on as higher wages as people make out. And I think he's a lot to offer us. He's a good squad player. So it'd have to be a decent offer. What would I accept? 15 to 20.
Chris,
that's what I look.
What your thoughts are?
It's an interesting one for me, and to be honest, I've been quite surprised by. I've not spent much time on X today, but obviously when you posted the links, Pete, about what we saw, I obviously clicked on them, and it brought me onto X. I was very surprised by people in the comments, dismissing Lloyd Kelly and saying that he's crap and he's this and he's that and we need better and stuff like that. And I think for me, some people need to acknowledge, the fact that it's a squad game. You can't have 20, 25 first team ready players or 25 first team, able players who all expect to play, because otherwise you'd have a very unhappy squad. So I do acknowledge it's a squad game. I do think that Lloyd Kelly is a good defender. I think it was a really shrewd signing bringing him in. Obviously, he's a utility player. He can play left back or centre back. For me, I wonder whether there's a little bit of gamesmanship going on. Fenerbahce have come in with it. I would say, I know Newcastle have rejected the offer and dismissed it, but I do wonder whether there's some gamesmanship in there, because in this PSR world that we are in, we have to consider all bids. And Pete, you made the point on the group. You said, this would be a pure profit sale, because obviously we didn't pay any money to bring Lloyd Kelly in. So that makes him a little bit of an exception to the rule in terms of selling players. So that is a big plus. Secondly, he's still 26 years old, can play in two positions, Premier League experience, used to be the captain of Bournemouth. To say he's rubbish and he's crap, I think is harsh, being honest. I don't think we've seen the best of Lloyd Kelly. He's not exactly hit the ground running in his career at Newcastle, but I do think there's more to come. And for me, I think it's a very long-winded answer, Pete. I think we would accept, like Daz says, I think around 15 million up to 20, but I'll stick with 15 million. And I wonder whether we're just trying to get a few extra quid out of Fenerbahce, because if you sell Lloyd Kelly for 15 million pounds, we all know what that can do PSR terms. That's a huge amount of money for us. That saves us having to sell a big hitter. So if we get, let's say we get 10 million for Miggy and 15 million for Lloyd Kelly, there's 25 million. It's a lot of money in terms of sales. To most clubs, that's probably not a lot, but to us, it's a lot, because we don't have that many saleable assets, or certainly ones that we want to get rid of. So if it means that we lose a utility player or somebody, who is a good squad member, but you're getting pure profit of 15 million, I think we'd be silly to turn it down. I'll be deadly honest. Anything 15 million or north, I would have to accept that. I'd have to. I know some people are talking 20 plus, and I think if there was no PSR, I would want over 20 million for Lloyd Kelly, because there's no pressure for us to sell him. I'm not desperate to sell him, but
it wouldn't happen either.
Yeah, well,
imagine the squad we'd have.
Hey, if it means that we can, open the door and get somebody else in, I think it's a no-brainer. I think he has to go. It's just a sad reality, because of that unusual situation that he's in terms of signing for us on a free. So for me, 50 million or more, Pete, I'd definitely take.
Yeah.
What about you?
I genuinely think that Newcastle United are trying to get 20 million for him.
Do you think we'd get it?
I don't know, is my honest answer. Now, we've got to rewind back a little bit. Remember when we did the Kelly handover with Sam from from Bournemouth Channel, who's been in touch actually. I'll chat to you boys afterwards. He's been in touch obviously regarding the game, because he'll be up at St James's Park on Saturday. Back in the net, yeah, absolutely. He said if he wasn't going for free, that Bournemouth probably would have wanted between 25 and 30 million for him.
Yeah.
So that's his value, like right there. Forget what he's done for Newcastle United this season. He hasn't played a lot of football, but that was his value for Bournemouth. So that still stands as a genuine value there. So we're not going to get that for Lloyd Kelly. We're just not. So I think Newcastle United want to get as close to that as possible. I think they want to push for as much as possible. I think if Fenerbahce can offer a deal 15 million with add-ons going up to 18 million, I think Newcastle United do a deal. I think that's an extra. I'm making it sound easy here. It's clearly not, but that's an extra 4 million on top of the potential deal that was on the table that got rejected, and then add-ons will be depending on appearances and various other things. Depending on their performance in the season, they can pay the additional. I think that's a deal that I think Newcastle would want to get done. So for me, that's the value that I think Newcastle United are holding, anywhere as close to 20 million as possible. Now, you're paying for a 26-year-old centre-back that can also play full-back, left-footed, which they're very rare. He's lightning quick. Yeah, he's made mistakes for us, but he's also had some good games for us as well. Chelsea in the Carabao Cup, I thought he was very, very good. He played well against Tottenham at home. He's had some good games for us when he's played as well. And I think with regular football, I think he could do a good job. Remember, let's not forget, Sam was saying he believes he's good enough to play for England. That was Sam's opinion, a Bournemouth fan. So he's clearly got that level in him. So you don't really want to be letting a player like that go for 11 million and going, oh, look at what he's doing now. He's smashing it. And then an English team goes and brings him back a year later and he smashes it. What you want to do is try and get as much money as you possibly can. But the key to it all, boys, is if that deal goes through and we do sign Miguel Almiron, it's got a feeling we're going to go big. I think we're going to go bigger than we expect on one player. I think
one elite player.
Yeah, one good player, very good player that can come into this first team. I think we may well go in on that one player. Who that is?
Before we wrap this little section up, right? I don't know. We're in.
Oh, not finished yet.
We're in Cloud 9 zone. Oh no, I mean before we move on to the next one. Let's. We love Devil's Advocate on here. We do love it. When you say elite player, well, to be fair, I said elite player, didn't I? You said big player. When you say big player, what would you class off the top of your head? And we're not saying that anyone who's watching, we're not saying that this is the player we want or this is the player we're going to go for, because none of us know. Would you class someone like Johan Bakayoko as the big player, or are you talking bigger than that?
Bigger.
I would say
Sandro Tonali was a name, wasn't he? Sandro Tonali was a name. Yeah. He was someone. He was worldwide. Everyone knew Sandro Tonali. Sorry, carry on, mate. Sorry.
No. I'm not necessarily saying this player, but I'm saying this level of player. I would say if we recoup that money, and look, there's another player that we haven't talked about that's also been with the move as well that we'll talk about in a second, I imagine. So if you put all that money recouped back in together, you could reinvest that into one top player. And for me, I'm talking a Brian Mbeumo level type player for me. A player that's double figures in guaranteed sort of double figures, that is elite or playing at the absolute best at their current club. I'm talking that player. I mean, taking them from their current team and bringing them to Newcastle United. That's the type of player that I'm looking that I would be seriously looking for Newcastle United to bring into this team. That type of player. And I'm not saying Mbeumo as the actual player. I'm talking that level of player. The reason why it wouldn't be the level above Chris, and I would absolutely love that, is because what comes with that is big signing on fees, wages. And I think we're gonna, honestly, boys, if we get Champions League football, I do think that type of player will come in, but they're going to save that for the summer.
I'm going to throw another one out there, and I link it to us playing Bournemouth, getting that game out of the way, Semenyo, and maybe even, hey, you could even put Kelly in as a sweetener with Bournemouth into that one. They may want him back. He might want to go back. No, but I don't know. Let's see what happens with the sales for us before we go into Dreamland.
Can I again? Sorry, I know I keep segueing here, but it is in relation to the topic. Very quick one. Really like this from Nobby Clark. What are you boys thinking on this?
Nah.
We do like a conspiracy theory, though, don't we? We do like them. We do like them.
He'd have him on the bench if.
But then he wouldn't be able to say he's injured, would he? So if Newcastle says, "Oh, we haven't got Shaw, we haven't got Lascelles, I don't know if we're going to be able to let him go."
I think it's a decent theory, but I just think, I don't think that's the case. I think it's a decent theory.
I like it though, Nobby. I do like it.
Put away the tinfoil, Nobby.
Yeah, it's the kind of shithousery I'd love to see at Newcastle United. It would absolutely be. That would be the Mourinho type of shithousery. That's the kind of thing that Mourinho
and they're doing it to Mourinho.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that they would do. But I think Mourinho would help us out. He's that type of. He's desperate to be Newcastle United manager. He'd be seeing like bringing Kelly in and bringing that money in for the club would help him because he's still adamant he thinks he could get a job. He'd want to help us out for sure. Like, he don't care about Fenerbahce in all seriousness. In probably a year's time, he probably ain't even going to be there. No. He's just trying to go all out to win something this season before he leaves. So yeah, I don't think he'll be bothered. He'll probably be telling the owners, "Yeah, pay it, get him in." But it's interesting because they were obviously after Carlos at Villa, and I'm pretty sure that they were offering over sort of 20 million for him. I could be wrong. So if that is the case, and I'm going to be honest here, Carlos has not been good at Villa at all.
No, I don't think he's been useless.
Oh, yeah, and he's isn't he 29?
He's 29.
Yeah,
he's not a great.
He was old when we were looking at him.
30 now. But the thing is that you're looking at that situation and you're thinking, hold on, is Kelly that much different to Carlos? Is he that much worse? I don't think so. Is he better? There's probably an argument for that. So if they're offering that sort of money for him, then why not get a few more million out of Fenerbahce, because they've clearly got the money there from what they were bidding for Carlos. So you're looking at that situation, you're thinking, well, okay, could they get that extra bit of money out of him? I think there's an opportunity, in all honesty, lads. Not going to lie.
Mm. Right, let's move on to the third player that's been talked about, and Pete, you brought this to our attention as well, and it's Charlotte back in the mix again with an old Villa manager, Dean Smith, and they're looking at the player that came back from and played for us in the FA Cup, Matt Targett, and before that he was nearly out for a year. He hadn't started for a year anyway, and nearly close to a year, about 11 months. But I don't know, maybe it's more. I don't know. Tell us more about this one.
Yeah, there's a few places that are reported this, but this is the most recent one from Graham Bailey. He mentioned that Dean Smith, who, as you mentioned, someone who Matt Targett's worked with previously, has taken an interest in getting Matt Targett to Charlotte this month. So there's a potential there of a deal. There's rumours of 7-8 million potentially to get that deal done and to move Targett on to there. So you're looking at 7-8 million potentially for Targett. You're looking at around 11 million for Miguel Almiron. And then if you could get 15, maybe anywhere close to 20, you're recouping the best part of nearly 40 million in this window.
Yeah.
Not bad for players that are not really going to play much Premier League football this season. I mean, Matt Targett, no one's really mentioned it, but he wasn't even in the squad tonight. And we didn't have Sean in the squad because of illness, but Matt Targett didn't even make the squad tonight, and he played and was half decent.
Did well
on Sunday. So was he not in the squad because there's noises of a potential move? Is that the case? Is something happening there? Who knows? There's another conspiracy theory thrown out. Out the squad. Is he already on his way? Already on a flight to Charlotte to sign a deal with his ex-boss?
And Miggy, he's waiting for Miggy to join him.
Maybe, yeah. It would just make financial sense.
And they're far apart from each other, Charlotte and Atlanta. I don't know either. They could connect. They could take a connection flight, I'm sure. But anyway, that's it on the latest rumors this evening and during the day. But Chris, we'll go to some questions from the chatters.
Yeah, let's do it, mate. And there's a lot. So I'm gonna fly through these ones first. So I need to give shout outs to Benicia Bound, a new loaded mag ultra. I do feel like Benicia became a loaded mag ultra. So I don't know whether this is just repetition, but it's back anyway. And congratulations, Benicia, and thank you for becoming an ultra. On that note, we also have Foxy,
Resident
Spanner, Foxy, who has also become a Loaded Ultra again this month. So thank you very much, Foxy, top man. Where else are we? Yeah, and we've got a few member comments. These are from members, who are currently signed up. So we've got Dave Bullman, who's been a member for 17 months, and he says Europe here we come. Spine of the team is excellent. Couldn't agree more, Dave. Could not agree more, mate.
Spot on, Dave.
1983, who recently won a members draw, as mentioned earlier. I believe if we stay injury free, we finish second. Not a bad shout, mate. Not a bad shout, especially if we continue this form.
Sweet.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can I just add to that really quickly?
Yeah, go for it.
If anyone was up at 1 a.m, this morning or last night, I was. Fell asleep. Obviously, with my back, I'm in and out. Fell asleep, woke back up to a message from Billy on the Race for Europe chat saying, "Is anyone watching LB live now?" And I'm like, "What is going on?" 1 a.m. And LB was doing a therapy session, therapy music in the background. It was like light music in the background, like he was in a therapy section. And he did a projected league table for the top 8 teams, and he predicted all of their results from now to the end of the season. Who did he have sitting second place in the Premier League? 6 points clear of third place. Just the Newcastle United.
Oh,
wow,
take it.
I'm not gonna lie, it wound up Billy somewhat. That we were sitting second. I think Villa was 6th. We'd finished ahead of Arsenal, of course. Liverpool won the league by I think 6 points. We were in second place. I think we were in second place with. I think we were in second place with 76 points. We finished on.
Wow.
That was the points total that we finished on, and I can't remember who was third. I think of course he had Man City in third. Of course he did.
We'll take that. We'll take that.
Yeah, Arsenal 4th, Chelsea 5th, Villa 6th. That was how it finished.
Billy didn't like that.
No, was it? No. Tell a lie. It might have been Villa 7th and Forest 6th. I think Forest finished ahead of Villa. So yeah, Forest still got European.
Like that.
Interesting that he projected us to win some games, and that was with one result. It was a shock result against somebody at home. I think where we weren't going to win, and I was like, "What are you doing?" No, it was against a team that you would kind of expect us to be. Anyway, it basically, even with that shock result in there, we finished on 76 points. So, yeah, it was an interesting one. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Nice.
Yeah, that is well, when you get an opposition fan saying that, it's great to see, isn't it? Absolutely great to see. Oh, by the way, shameless plug. Talking of previous things that we've seen, a very quick one. I don't know whether it was on 12th Man Pete, correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw Dan Potts shamelessly say, "Oh well, I said Newcastle were going to finish in the top 4." I was like, whoa, because Dan may have said it at the very, very start, but when Villa hit that form, it was like, it's Villa's.
I've reminded him of that. Don't worry.
Yeah,
not on stream. But I will do soon. I reminded him that in private. I said it to him before. Hold on a second. You change your tune on Newcastle.
Yeah.
Now you jump
in. If only there was a way to go back in time and just check that out.
Hey. Yeah, it would be. That would be nice. But I'm gonna read out a couple of these. Jason Scott says 170 million and rising. Hard to disagree, mate. Hard to disagree.
That's selling.
He's pricing himself out of a move. Even if a move was to materialise, he's pricing himself out of a move because nobody can afford him. Nobody can afford that. Sorry, Pete, what were you saying?
No, Daz will know this. Any Football Manager fans in the chat, if you've got a player that you want to sign, normally they've got a value to their name of how much their value is. When a club doesn't want to sell a player, there is no value. It's just a line. But that means no matter what you bid, you are not getting the player. If this was Football Manager, and it's not, unfortunately, there would be a line right there. There's a line there. There's no money. We can say whatever figure we want. 100, 200, 300. That line that you can see in the chat right there, okay, is the value of Alexander Isak, because there isn't one, because he is unsellable. He's an unsellable player for Newcastle United. We cannot afford to sell that man. He is absolutely special to Newcastle United.
I can't play football. I can't play Football Manager these days because real life is so good. It's impossible to beat it. So unless we start playing poor again, then I can go back playing Football Manager. But it's just so good at the moment.
Oh,
how do you compete with that? How do you compete with Eddie Howe?
Don't wait till March, mate. Not yet.
Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry. I've got to ask this one, Pete. Wolsey has asked how your back is.
It's slowly getting better. I do have my meds, although I have to be honest, I knew the game was tonight, so I made sure that I didn't take them, so it wasn't crossing over, because I thought if we win, I'll have a celebratory one. But I'll be right back on to them tomorrow morning. So yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. Thanks for asking. But yeah, it's been a real tough few days, a real painful few days, but it's getting better. Thankfully, I'll be up on my feet and being able to go do what I need to do in the next sort of 7 days or so.
Nice. That's good, mate. Good to hear. We've had a little bit of this player has come up a little bit in the chat, so I'm going to bring up a few of them. So Dave Bullman says, "Would you sell Joe Willock?" And somebody else asked a similar question. Where is it? Simon Davis says, "Wouldn't let Willock go in this window for certain. He's Isak's mate. Have to replace Miggy Mind." So obviously, that's a really good point. We know how well Joe Willock and Alexander Isak get on. You see it a lot in the videos that NUFC TV produce. But I suppose the question I'm going to ask you boys is, what figure do you think, not necessarily yourselves, but do you think that Newcastle sit up and go, what is the figure for Joe Willock?
I think if someone came on with 30, they'd snap their hand off them. Anyone that's seen us in Squid Game, I would be ruthless and sell any of the fringe players. So Willock would be on my list to go. Look, at times he can produce the magic, but it hasn't happened too often. So he'd be on my hit list once Miggy goes and a few more go. He'd be on my hit list.
What about you, Pete?
Just being absolutely, if I'm being ruthless, I'm saying 35 million. But if I'm being realistic, I'm saying 25 million will get any club, or any club bidding 25 million will get Newcastle United around the table. I think it would probably be anywhere between 25, 27 million plus add-ons, maybe taking it just over 30 as an overall deal. Will probably get the deal done. But yeah, I think someone in the chat, I think it was Mike Gent, put 30 to 40 million. I think if he scored a few more goals, I think that would be a genuine conversation around that. But he's, I think, 25 himself. He doesn't score massive amounts of goals. I think it's the only thing that probably stops him from
injury record.
Yeah. Injury record, yeah, definitely. I think with regular football and knowing that he's the guy in the team would probably make him play more often, if that makes sense. Because when you're a bit part, sometimes you do pick up injuries, come off the bench 10, 15 minutes here, there. I think that could be worked around because he's still young. But I think if he scored more goals, I think we could generate more money for him. But equally, if he scored more goals, we'd probably keep him. So it's one of those. But I think 25 with a 30 million all-in deal, I think would get a deal done for Willock only in the summer, though, not in January. I don't think Newcastle sell Joe Willock at all this season.
It's not happening then.
In the summer, definitely is part of a Newcastle reshuffle. But don't be surprised. This is the same with Harvey Barnes. Don't be surprised if we get European football that both of them stick around, because they'll become important European football players that will go and play midweek games and play more minutes. Like Harvey Barnes and Joe Willock would have had so many more minutes under their belt this season. Louis Miley as well. had we had European football, because we would have rotated. So
with Willock was doing brilliant for us in that the season we qualified for the Champions League, and then he just got injured towards the end, and he is not right at all last year. So to his credit, he deserves a shot at it as well in the Champions League if we get there, or any kind of European competition. So, but let's see how it's the pie in the sky at the moment for sure.
Yeah. How significant? Tony Beasley says he thought it was massive as well that Longstaff didn't come on and Miley did instead. Do you think that is Eddie Howe kind of, saying to Sean Longstaff, that's the future? Louis Miley is the future of Newcastle United in terms of, being that understudy to that midfield three. Do you think there's anything in it transfer-wise? Do you think it's a case of, trying to, not upset the apple cart, not potentially get Sean Longstaff injured? Maybe there's talks going on, who knows? How significant do you think that it was that Sean Longstaff wasn't one of the five that came on as a sub today?
More conspiracy theories there. Plenty of them tonight. Potentially. It does send a message to Sean Longstaff, I guess. Miley did really so well in the FA Cup. He deserved a shot back in the Premier League and to build up his minutes as well, because we're going to need him between now. If something happens, one of the three, because he can play in any of the positions there for Bruno, Tonali, or J7. But so yeah, more so than that, and he definitely needs to hold on to Miley, and Miley's going nowhere. So you never know. We'll see what happens with Longstaff. But if we were to offload Biggie, Target, Kelly, we're not selling Longstaff as well. It's not. This is January. It's not. If the summer is one thing, but we're not selling everyone. They have to play it right, and we don't want to damage the good rapport that's in the squad as well. That's something that has, for where we are now and the run we're on, we don't want to tarnish that, and tweak it a bit, and it could all fall apart again. So only minor, small changes that need to be done.
And what about you, Pete?
I think what you're seeing is almost a changing of the guard. So what you're seeing now is the Geordie representative in that midfield is now Louis Miley, not Sean Longstaff. And I think, being honest, I think Sean Longstaff knows his time's up. I think he knows his time is up at Newcastle United. I think he knows at some point he is going to leave. You can almost see it in his body language. He doesn't seem kind of the bubbly, happy person that you kind of saw last season, and particularly the season previous to that. I think he knows his time's up. He obviously doesn't want to leave. Elliot Anderson didn't want to leave, but they also know that for the future of the club to move in the right direction, they're probably going to have to. And it's just a reality. To be fair, Louis Miley offers a lot more than Sean Longstaff. He's better. He's a better player technically. He can play in a position that's crucial in that number 6. He can offer more as a number 8. And he's got youth on his side. He's got a future on his side where his value can develop. He is absolutely a great age. And I think with all of that, Sean Longstaff's 27, nearly 28, or might he already be 28, or might be 28 this year. I don't know exactly what it is. But, he understands that there's another player coming in that's probably a better player than him right now that offers more. And I think that's the reality to it. I think that move for Sean Longstaff doesn't happen until the summer. I think if it wasn't for Elliot Anderson leaving at the end of June, I think Sean Longstaff would have left in the summer. I think he would have. I think he'd have gone. But the reality was that the 15 to 17 million that was rumoured, because Leicester were heavily linked with him, and from all accounts that I've heard, actually wanted him. But it was a case that Elliot Anderson was worth more money. So they had to sell him to comply with PSR. So I do think it'll be a summer move that he leaves. We'll stock out the midfield with Miley and Longstaff as alternatives along with Willock. We'll keep that midfield tight. And we'll get rid of the likes of Target, where we've got 2, maybe 3 players that can cover. We'll get rid of Miggy, and with that money generate a new signing that can come in and be either first choice right back or someone right wing, who will take over that mantle eventually from Murphy as being the main guy, whoever we sign. That's the kind of way that I see it at this moment in time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Boys, I think we're going to be busy the last 2 weeks or so in the transfer
It's
window.
about time.
I know it is.
3 windows, lads. 3 windows
Yeah.
it would have taken for us to finally get some proper signings action where players would look like they're coming through the door. But what you'll probably find is I don't think it'll be a late scramble. I think if Miggy does go within the next 2-3 days, it'll be interesting to see if he plays at the weekend. I don't think he will, personally. I think what you'll find is that maybe next week the move for a replacement will start to properly ramp up. I wouldn't be surprised if that deal is getting thrashed out now with Miggy going to Atlanta, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Paul Mitchell already at work to find an alternative. Yeah. You cannot go. It would absolutely be criminal if you sold Miggy and you didn't get a right wing to replace him, and you're putting all your eggs in the basket of Jacob Murphy, who is excellent at the moment, but could well change in a second, and you've got no replacement to come in there. I just can't see a Newcastle ownership that does that. I just cannot see it.
Yeah. Then you're putting square pegs in round holes, like you're thinking Asula on the wing or whatever, playing J7 out on the right again, and blah blah blah. Different things like that.
Can't happen.
Yeah. Chris, any more questions?
So we've got a few to fire through. So I will quickly whiz through them. I loved this from Andy Ford. Loved it. If Isak continues like this, Elon Musk couldn't afford it. Never mind the Gunners. I love that. Absolutely love that. Talking of Mr. Alexander Isak, this is a really good question, and I don't think we've really discussed this, boys. So this comes from Tom Dixon. Tom says, question for Daz, Pete, and Chris. How many goals do you think Isak will score from now till the end of the season? But I'm gonna counter that. Let's talk about how many goals he's got so far, and let's say how much he'll finish on. And do we think he's got a chance to go boot?
He has a chance, all right. Salah and Haaland dropped there as well, haven't they? How many has he got so far? I don't know. Anyone know?
I think Haaland scored. Has he scored 15? I think Haaland's on 15, same as Isak.
Wow.
Isak's got 15. I think Haaland's got 15. But I think Salah's got like 20. Has he got like 20 or 20 more?
That is interesting.
The data could be out of date here, but I imagine they haven't counted Isak's 2 tonight, so it says 13 here. So let me see.
Isak's definitely on 15. Isak's definitely on 15 Premier League goals this season. Salah's got 18. So he's closer than I thought. And Haaland has 16.
Yeah. Haaland has 16, yeah. Salah 18. Isak 15. Cole Palmer 14. Mbueno 13. Chris Wood. Chris Wood was weird against Liverpool. You see, I was amazed by him tracking back. He's like as I said to you guys, it's like he sold his soul. Because he's fucking unbelievable now. Where was that when he was? But anyway, to answer Tom's question
now, and we've got 17 games left. It's 25.
Okay.
Got to be 25, isn't it?
27.
27.
He's capable of 10 more goals. He's capable of 10 more goals. Absolutely. For me, he just needs to be consistent. He just needs to be consistently putting the ball in the net. He's got a run of games now. Obviously, he's back to tonight. He's got Bournemouth at the weekend, Southampton. He's got games there. I think there's Fulham at home afterwards, I believe, if I'm right thinking. He's got a run of 3 games now. 2 at home, 1 away, but all teams that he's more than capable of scoring against, where if he chips in with a goal here, a goal there, he's just continuing to nicely build as we go along. Look, he's not going to score in every game. There'll be games where he doesn't score, but the great thing about Isak and the improvement that he's done is he's adding assists to his game. So he was bagging goals, but he wasn't really creating. He's got 5 assists this season, already at 20 goal contributions this season already. And you look at players
21 games.
Yeah, I mean, you look at other players like Salah and that hit those sort of numbers that people are like going absolutely mad all over for. So he's a creator as well as a scorer, and that's just what makes him really, really special. He's just doing bits. Like Wood has got 1 assist. Haaland's got 1 assist. Salah's the only one that stands out, but he plays off the wing. Salah's got 13 assists, but he's a winger, so you can't really add him into that conversation. But if you look at other strikers, maybe Watkins, let's have a look at Watkins and what he's doing in terms of assists. He's got 4 assists, so he's not too far off, but he's only scored 9 goals. So like there's the other strikers are not creating opportunities for others like he is. He's literally the complete striker. He's the complete forward. He does everything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's dream for a minute, boys. Can we catch Liverpool, or do you think we're playing for second? And then another question there, which is similar. Friday 81, are we in a title race? Is another one for you. Where do you stand right now, and what's your mantra? What are you saying, Daz? I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, and it's what Eddie Howe says. But what genuinely, where do you feel we are at the moment, and what should we be capable of?
Where are we now? People are talking about, are we in a title race? Are we going to finish second? And I'm not allowed to play the Champions League music, or people get thick. In the chat, I'm talking about people get thick and say I'm good.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah, so no, we're not seriously. We're not in a title race. Next season, we could be if we bring in some elite players. But then we're in the Champions League. We'll go back to the same scenario. Do we have a big enough squad to cope with it? We'll have a bit of experience from it. You'd hope that we'd be in Europe. It's a tough one. No, we're not in a title race, and we're not gonna come second either. But I would be putting money down that we can get Champions League football, though.
Yeah, Pete. I mean, Tom Dixon says if Newcastle win the league, he's getting a double tattoo.
I think we're all getting one. If we win the league, I think we're all getting one.
We absolutely have to.
What 2 tattoos, Tom, and where are you getting them? You have to put that in the commissioner.
I'm getting one loaded tattoo with the date, and the other one I'm getting a Premier League trophy with the date on it. If we were
Chris, are you get
to ever win?
Are you getting this one, Chris?
No, I'm not getting that one.
You're getting that.
I'll get it's in the that's right, isn't it? Yeah, there. I'm getting that. Yeah, there it is. There it is. I'm gonna get that. Definitely. And Tom Dixon, if we win the title, mate, you've just got to get some sunglasses, just tattoos on your face. Just permanent sunglasses, mate. Because we're just busting.
Oh God!
Oh my God! Yeah,
that'd be brilliant. That would be brilliant. But Pete, what are your thoughts, mate? Where are we? Apart from tattoos.
Well, Forest are throwing themselves in a title race, and we're 3 points behind them potentially. Look, but in all honesty, I don't think we're in a title race. I think Liverpool. Liverpool have got a game in hand still. They'll probably beat Everton, and they'll be well ahead, 7 points ahead of Arsenal once they play their game in hand potentially. But are we in a race? Are we in a race for second or third? Absolutely. Are we in a race with the likes of Forest and Arsenal? I would say so. We're 3 points behind Forest. The win on Saturday can put us on the same points as them. We've got a better goal difference. A couple of points behind Arsenal. They have Villa in their next game, which will be a tasty one. So one of them is going to drop points in that next game. And so, you know, who knows? We could be clawing ourselves closer to Arsenal in that position there. You know, it's all up for grabs, boys. But ultimately, we just need to keep doing what we need to do. Take it game by game, as we've said.
Yeah.
Just win the next game. Bournemouth on Saturday. It's the early kickoff. We go to St. James's Park again, and we win. Then we let the cards fall for the rest of the teams, however they fall. But as long as we're picking up the points, boys, we're in a great position. Like, we've won 11 games. I look at the league table at the moment. We've won 11 games already. You know, normally, in a Champions League season, if you get in the Champions League, you got to win maybe around anywhere between 18 and 21 games to get Champions League football. That might depend on how many draws you get, but we haven't had that many draws. So you're looking at a situation, we've had 5 draws, 5 losses, 11 wins. You know, if we can hit that 20 win mark, so we can get to sort of like another 9 wins off the back of it, hitting that 20 win mark, that puts us right in that conversation. And look, with Bournemouth and some of the other games coming up, they are winnable games. Whether we win them or not is another thing, but we just got to do what we need to do, because if we do that, we are right in that conversation. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, absolutely. Just a quick one, boys. I mean, DXK says, if we sell Kelly for 15 and Miggy for 11, then surely we have some books for a pre-June 30th splurge. Totally. Yeah. And I think this is you know what maybe we're aiming to do. I know I watched I was watching Craig Hope. He did one of his podcasts, and he was saying the exact same thing. You know, that he feels that Newcastle maybe won't go mad this window. But that we will definitely be active in that pre-June 30th window, which is a very good point, because there will be some clubs who will need to sell, and that's where potentially there'll be opportunities for us to go in. But I like this question from Callum. Callum says the question is, who would you prefer to have as our backup left back, Kelly or Matt Targett? Targett's been linked to Charlotte today, which is what we were talking about earlier. But let's say, for argument's sake, it was 8 million a piece, and you had to let one of them go. As which one would you let go?
Definitely letting Matt Targett go, because Kelly can play left back and centre back, and we also have Trips in there as well, and Trips can play left back. So I'd say Matt Targett is surplus to requirements, and he's put himself in the shop window, and he did well in the FA Cup. So I would sell him. Yeah.
Pete, are you the same?
Yeah, I would. I'd be moving on Target if we had the choice. For the obvious reasons, moving him on because, as I said, he's versatile. I mean, the only argument that I would have for selling Kelly instead of Target is maybe if it was for more money. But if you're saying to me right now that it's for the same money, I'd be selling him. I'd be moving Target on. You got more chance of Kelly staying fit and offering you more in the team as backup. But yeah, that's where I go.
Yeah. Couple more, boys, and we'll wrap up.
What about you, Dan?
Me? I'd be the same. Matt Targett. I feel like Lloyd Kelly's still got stuff to offer. I must say, when Matt Targett played against Bromley, I know it's Bromley, but I did think he played well. I thought he has a solid performance, and hopefully, you know, some suitors were watching him. Maybe Dean Smith was watching him. Who knows? But you know, I think he's got something to offer another club. I just feel like, unfortunately for Matt Targett, we're just fully stocked in the left back position, and
no one's ever getting ahead of Lewis Hall.
No, exactly. Quick one for me, off Geordie Tune for Life. Chris Hall, how is the blue household? Yeah, mate, it's blue. It's very blue and dour. You'll have noticed before, I put myself on mute and took my headphones out. Our Callum come in from the match, and he said it's still the same old shit. So it sounds like things aren't very good in Goodison at the moment. But I think everyone was hoping for the resurgence under David Moyes, but unfortunately, he can't work miracles, can he? Yeah, you can't work miracles. But yeah, apparently, and he said as well, by the way, he said Villa were poor. But he said better than us. which gave me a little bit of hope as well. I thought if Villa haven't played particularly well, yes, they've got the 3 points, but he said Villa weren't up to much either. He said it wasn't a very good game. So yeah, everyone's a little bit down, but I'm not. I'm fine.
Champions League kicks back in soon for Villa.
Yeah.
Could well drop some points.
It's next week, isn't it?
Yeah, got some tough games coming up. We won tonight, but Arsenal next. One of them's got to drop points. We have to beat Bournemouth because we've got teams around us that are playing each other. They're going to drop points. We talked about that gap earlier. Let that gap get bigger. We need to keep winning.
Yeah. Two final ones. Boys, I'm just bringing this to your attention. I Like Coffee says, Shearer, 148 goals. Callum Wilson, 47 goals. Alexander Isak already. I know, Callum Wilson, yeah. Alexander Isak already, 46 goals. Already. Just shows, I mean, we're all massive fans of Callum Wilson and what he's done for the club, but Alexander Isak, he's 1 goal off Callum Wilson's record. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. But that shows you what we've got in Alexander Isak. That just says it all. So, no, really, really good message there. I Like Coffee. I want a one-word answer from you on these last two. One-word answer. Okay. First one is from Lee G. 11 more wins will put us on 71 points, which should put us in the top 6. Do you think we can win 11 more games, Pete?
Absolutely.
Dazzler?
11 from the 17 that are left. We can do it. We have to. It's all about injuries, maybe strengthening in January, as we've just described. But it's not impossible.
Not quite one word.
Roll answer.
Yeah. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yeah. I think we can. And we're going to get 2 in the next 2. Jimmy Watt, final question. Do you think, and putting it on you now, boys, do you think we'll get 1 or 2 players? I think it will be 1, a right winger. Number of signings, 1, 2, or 3. I don't think we're going to go over 3. 1, 2, or 3. No, in fact, North, 1, 2, or 3.
Definitely 1, especially if we're selling some players. But the transfer window, we don't even need a month of it. Things only happen in the last 2 weeks anyway. Yeah. Same in the summer. It's a bit. Just give people a break. We definitely got 1, 1.5, 1 on loan.
Give us a break.
Yeah, holiday.
It was a holiday. Pete, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, 0, 1, 2, 3. I'm not going 4.
4.
Yeah, no, I'm silly.
We're talking summer signings, hopefully. I think 1. 1 quality signing, I take.
Yeah. I'm going to see your 1, and I'm going to raise you 2. I've got a feeling now. I think it's because of all these players linked out. We've seen Miggy, we all kind of knew and expected. Matty Target, we hoped, but that seems a little bit more promising. Sean Longstaff's gone quiet. Kieran Trippier's gone quiet. They're still players that are possibles for me. So I'm going to say 2. I think we could let 2 or 3 go, and if we let 2 or 3 go, I think there's a possibility we bring 2 in. Not necessarily 2 permanent first team, but I think there'll be two signings, 1 very significant. That's what I'll say.
I think there's a chance. I would love to. That's what I always kind of said. I'd want 2 to come in, but I don't think Trippier is going to go. No. I think Trippier, although he'd want to start, I think he looks quite settled at Newcastle now. Now I think his personal life seems to have settled down a little bit. He seems to have settled down in himself. He seems to be back playing comfortably, the way he played previously. Although he's obviously coming off the bench and doing it. Yeah, I won't be surprised to see. I mean, if he leaves, I think it'll be the summer. But I won't be surprised to see him stay.
Good point there. They want to medal. They want to stick around to get the medal as well.
It's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point. Oh, Tom Dixon's throwing names out. Evan Ferguson.
Evan Ferguson isn't coming because he's just going to sit in the bench, and that's not what Brighton want. They want to loan him out to someone that's going to play him, and go from there. That's why maybe West Ham or something like that, who obviously need a striker.
Yeah, Brighton are in a really difficult position with him because he obviously wants to leave because he wants first team football. But the only way he's likely to leave is loan. But all the teams that have been linked with him are all teams that are literally around Brighton right now and are fighting for the same positions as Brighton. They would be an absolute fool to let him go. Like, for example, West Ham are linked with him.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other teams linked with him. I'm not sure if Brentford were linked to him or I can't remember, but there's a couple of teams around the same positions as Brighton that are linked with him. And it's like, why would they let him go? I mean, we would have a chance, a genuine chance of getting him, because I do think we're fighting in different sections. I think Brighton are 10th right now. Like we're in a completely different situation to them, in my opinion, at this moment in time. I think we could probably get away with it, but I think you're right, Daz. Like wherever he goes, he wants to play regular football. He does not want to be sitting on the bench and coming on and being Alexander Isak's like understudy. So he might as well just stay at Brighton. But you know, with João Pedro injured, he's out for another period of time now. He's got another bad injury. He could well stay. Who was the other player? I can't remember the other player.
And Bueno.
Evan Ferguson and Burmo.
Very attacking minded there. Tom,
I think if a player comes in, it's in the attacking positions.
But
I don't think we get a defensive signing. I don't think we get a defensive signing, even if we send a defender. I'm convinced that the player coming in is either going to be a right winger or an alternative striker. It'll be one of the two. And I actually think it's going to be more a right winger than anybody else.
How about a goalie?
I don't. I think Dubravka will stay. Dubravka will stay. Pope will be back fit. I think Pope is targeting the Southampton game to be back fit, if not before. I think they'll go with Pope and Dubravka for the rest of the season. I think they'll go with the defence now for the rest of the season because Botman's played so well right centre back. He now provides that alternative option. Attack is where we need to strengthen. We need alternative options. Barnes is now injured, but we've struggled on that right wing. Although Murphy's playing well, we have to sign an alternative attacking player. That's where I think that signing will be.
Boys, let's call it a night. We were laughing at LB and his therapy sessions into the early hours of the morning. Look, we're not far off ourselves. 20 minutes time. It's my birthday. 20 minutes time, so I'm going to play out with this tune, just something different. Thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you on the next one. Have a good what day is tomorrow? Thursday. Have a good Thursday. Night, everyone. Bye.
Get in.
Each and every single day, I know I'm going to have to eventually